Culture versus environment. What's more important? Being in the right culture or being in the right environment? I'm going to share two personal coaching stories with you that demonstrate the power of culture is more important than being in the right environment. All that and more on the No Backboard Basketball Show.
That we get back to talking about this community, because I think that's one way, and that I think that's, if I'm not mistaken, it may be the tagline you use there, if change the game, change the community.
I'm the game changer, the mover, the shaker. With every basket, I'm a community maker. I'm the game changer, the mover, the shaker. With every basket, I'm a community maker.
Great question. So, the No Backboard Basketball League, the vision of it is a new recreational basketball platform to provide opportunities for Black and brown individuals to actually own wealth creating assets in the sports space. Welcome to the No Backboard Basketball Show. I am your host, Mark Tee Armstrong, the inventor of Basketball the Remix and the founder of the No Backboard Basketball League, your most important voice in American basketball today. The No Backboard Basketball League is envisioned as an alternative alternative basketball skills development, and alternative basketball entertainment platform purposed to make a positive impact on basketball culture here in the United States. If you're interested in learning more about my why behind the No Backboard Basketball League, check out my book on Amazon. No Backboard Basketball, Remixing Basketball as a Catalyst of Change. And consider joining our community and getting positioned as sharing the value that the No Backboard Basketball League will accrue over the next several years. Go to nobackboard.com, provide your email, and get in the mix. Also, visit our store, nobackboard.store. That's nobackboard.store. Support the effort, pick up some swag, and be one of the first in your area to be rocking the No Backboard Basketball League gear. All right, now that we have the housekeeping out of the way, today we're going to dive into the debate over culture versus environment in youth and college sports, and what's the difference and why it matters more, or which matters more in this debate. Is culture more important in the development of youth athletes than environment? So first, let's define both of these terms so we are working from the same understanding. So environment includes physical or natural surroundings where people live, work, and play. It encompasses your physical geography, environments that have been built, so your cities, buildings, infrastructures, and other environmental impacts. So environment deals with the physical characteristics of an environment, right? Now, culture, which refers to values, beliefs, customs, behaviors, artifacts, characteristics of a group of society. Culture's learned, it's shared, evolves over time, and it changes, right? So your culture would deal with language, your norms and values, traditions, rituals, art, literature, music, social organizations, moral and ethical standards, right? So for youth development, what's more important? To have your child in the right environment, i.e. to be in the right gym at the right time, to be possibly in a quote unquote basketball city. Is that more important? Or immersed in the right culture? This is the question that lies at the heart of, I think, many of the issues facing basketball in the United States and perhaps youth sports in general. We have a lot of movement, lack of loyalty. And when you have that type of movement and lack of loyalty, you're jumping from environment to environment to environment, but never getting immersed in culture. So today, I want to share I want to share a couple of my personal experiences as a coach where I witnessed the transformative power of culture. So back in the spring of 2016, I stepped out of the stands as a parent and started to coach a middle school club team out in Arizona. Now, this was my first time coaching since I think about 1998, where I was coaching. I coached my son's YMCA team. So I was given the responsibility of 2 teams, 20 kids in total, including 2 girls, right? And the club program was already had a solid culture with leaders that did the right thing. So most of these kids had been with the program for a few years. And again, it was a solid program. So they had their basic skills were above average, right? And here's the thing that will let you know the basic skill was above average. All of our athletes could make a weak hand, underhand layup. So what that means is if you're a right-hander, they can make a left-hand layup with their right hand. They can make a left-hand layup underhand. That may seem simple to you, but I want you to pay attention the next time you're out at youth games, how many kids, even in middle school and high school, struggle with just making a simple layup with their offhand. So these kids were skilled, they had good IQ, but they were just really average athletes. So again, I took over the spring of 2016 and I implemented Paul Westhead's fast break system. That's the system I played at Loyola Marymount University, and a basic triangle offense with from Tex Winters and Phil Jackson, right? In doing this, I gave everyone the green light to shoot their shot, which has always been a principle for me. You can shoot the ball whenever you want, when you want to shoot your shot, meaning every athlete knows there's a place on the court where they're highly effective. And that's my ask as a coach. If I haven't seen you do it in practice, I don't want to see you do it in a game. Prove to me in practice you can do it, man, you got the green light, right? So with both these teams, we found immediate success. So much so that we were invited to the Arizona Middle School Championship. Now keep this in mind. We didn't have any middle school kids that had any offers from colleges yet, or even were projected to play varsity as a freshman, or maybe even a sophomore. But we had a group of skilled kids who were average athletes with good IQs, and we provided them with a system where everyone had shooting opportunities, and they felt supported by the coaching staff, right? Now, here's where the culture truly came through. We had 20 kids, we had 2 teams. They practiced together, but they never played together. We only had one guy that had played with both teams over the course of me working with these kids. Right, so when we went down to the state championship tournament, we took kids from both teams who could go because there was a cost as well, right? We were traveling out of town. There was a cost. So some families didn't attend for various reasons. And then because it was really super competitive, the young ladies did not play in this particular tournament. That was their choice, not our choice. So we took this team down there, group of kids who have trained together in the same system, same style, same values, same rules, but they never played together. Put them together, and we went down to this tournament, and we won the tournament. Not just did we not just win the tournament, we pretty much dominated the tournament, beating the favorite by 8 points in the championship game, right? So I had walked into a solid situation where there was a strong cultural foundation, a group of kids who've been in a good coaching environment, getting solid fundamental coaching skills and IQ education, and they had all been together for years, 2 to 3 years at least. However, they didn't find the level of success that they experienced under my coaching until we put a system in place that leveraged their strong characteristics. They worked hard. They were good kids, good character, good families. We gave them a system that was open, free, a few rules, and I had 3 requirements. Play hard defense, rebound, and shoot your shot. And we had a system where everybody could find their shot in the flow of the game. So after the tournament, I compiled our data and sent the detailed packet out to the families. Parents, I hope your coaches are doing this, and coaches, I hope you are doing this for your families in your programs. It was interesting, as I prepped for this conversation today, I was looking at some old data, and what really jumped out to me is the number of 3-point shots we took back then. So you talk about 2017, about 40% of our shots. What this highlights, now, I'm a critic of the push for the 3-point shot being a focal point or focus as an offensive weapon in basketball. I'm a critic of that. What this highlights is our commitment we had to push the ball up the court and actually get the early 3 in the corner, which when I played at Loyola Marymount University, that's what we did. I played for, in college, the most prolific offense in basketball history. Facts is documented. We can have that debate. So what this shows is, if you look at our data, half of those 40% of threes were coming from early shots out the corner. And this is why we did this. We pushed the ball up the court. We always look to see if we can get our 2 in the corner early in the break with that shot. Simultaneously, we would have our 4 sprinting down the middle of the court, and then we had our 3 sweeping out wide on the sideline opposite of the ball in transition, and then their job wasn't to run to the corner, they ran to the block. So when that shot in the corner went up, we already had 2 offensive players and 2 players looking for an offensive rebound. So when you look at that, you understand our system was designed for quick threes and transitions from that right corner. And that was the source of half of those early threes. The other half came in the flow of our offense where we created wide open shots. So trust and believe there's definitely a method to our madness. So here's my takeaway. I was airdropped into an already strong culture of kids who had been in the same program for a few years. They were skilled, they had high IQ, but due to being kind of average athletes, the style of play that they were playing before I came really didn't create enough opportunities on the court for those kids to win. All I did was upgraded the offensive system that leaned into the skills, the character, and their hard work, and more importantly, the IQ. And it completely transformed their basketball experience. It's culture that can turn average athletes into champions by fostering a belief, opportunity, community, and instilling the right values, both what needs to be reflected on the court and off the court. And that's what's most important in developing young athletes today. Putting them in a strong culture and letting them marinate in that culture over a period of time, as opposed to picking them up every year and moving them to a different program, different culture, different voice.
Tired of the three-point obsession, the commercialization of youth basketball, and a game where skill development takes a backseat? Introducing No Backboard Basketball, remixing basketball as a catalyst for change. This isn't just a book, it's a movement. Rediscover basketball's roots, where the focus is on community, creativity, and real opportunities for Black and brown youth. No more barriers for families without deep pockets. Get your copy on Amazon now and join the revolution that's changing the game and changing lives.
So, as a result of my success at the club level, I was recruited actually for a coaching position at a new charter school in Arizona. I ended up being responsible for both the high school and junior high programs. right? So I entered this position actually with a 5-year plan, realizing I had to be patient, right? Because at the high school level, I was dealing with high school athletes that were transferring from the current school, which for me was a yellow flag. So my focus really was on the developmental of the junior high program, understanding that they would matriculate up into our high school program. So we managed a total of 6 teams, and I was the head coach of the high school varsity, hired the rest of the coaching staff for my staff and the other teams. Right now, we all ran the same stuff. We all ran the same break, and we all ran the same foundational offense. Coaches could tweak some things, but fundamentally, from 7th grade to my varsity, someone could step out on the court and run our basic fundamental offense and defenses. So over the course of the 3 years I was at this school, our junior high program went 106-23 with an 82%. That's an 82% winning percentage, right? So we went 106-23, 82% winning percentage. So here's where the culture comes in. In my last year, the school didn't provide financial support for our 3rd junior high team. We had a junior high varsity, we had a junior high JV, but we had so many kids coming out and we didn't want to cut anybody. So our booster club covered the cost for our 3rd team in that 3rd year. And I need to frame this correctly. At that time, unless you were playing a fall sport, you had to participate in a 6-week preseason training program, followed by 3 days of tryouts. 1 day focused solely on evaluating your athleticism and conditioning. The next day was solely on your skill set. And then the next day was scrimmages where we evaluated your skill set in action and your IQ. We used a scoring system where we gave 70% of the weight to the results of the 3 days. We had created our own grading system. So during these 3 different days, we had multiple coaches out there. They all had this sheet of paper, and we are documenting everything, threw it into our own algorithm, if you would, and it would produce a score or rating for every single athlete in our program. And what's interesting is there was a portion of parents who did not like the fact that we made that information public, right? So we will have 80 plus kids in our program. And before the start of the season, we would produce a ranking of every single kid in our program, strengths, weaknesses, and give them a score, which is how I grew up. But the parents, they weren't feeling that. So, but that allowed me over the course of 3 years to always put the right teams together. Now, the kids on this 3rd team, they went through everything I mentioned. They went through the preseason. They went through the 6 weeks of preseason. They went through the three days of tryout, and they got cut. But they took the offer to play on the 3rd team. Now, here's the thing. The 3rd team didn't even play in the school conference. The 3rd team got buy-in games over the course of the year. So over the course of this season, that 3rd junior high team played 25% of the games that our varsity and junior high varsity and junior high JV played. They got a quarter of the practice time and court time. And rarely they didn't have a head coach because all of the coaches would rotate through to run the practice for them when we would have practice. And in the face of all of this, these kids still would attend all of their peers' games. They would sport our team swags all season long, all around the campus. and they just behaved as they were true members of the program, which they were. So at the end of the season, our team was invited to the Arizona Middle School Championship down in Tucson. Both our varsity and JV teams had earned the right to go play for that state championship. We decided to give members of this third team the opportunity to participate in the state tournament, right? So this is where it gets exciting. So we put out an invite, composed a team for a few players who didn't play much on the JV team, along with members of this third team. I personally ran practice for 2 weeks before the tournament. And I have to say, this was one of my proudest coaching experiences. We took this team down and we came within a missed three-pointer from winning that state tournament. That was one of the highlights of my coaching experience. And this, my friends, is what strong culture looks like. A strong culture stimulates the soul in a way that empowers individuals to go above and beyond what they otherwise would or could achieve, right? Because we took a group of kids who played a quarter of who first of all didn't make their teams. They played a quarter of the games all year long on weekends. They got a quarter of the practice. But they were bought into the culture of our program, in a winning program. Again, my junior high team over 3 years went 106-23, I think. 82% winning percentage. 3 years in a row, conference champs. Of those 3 years, we've won 3 state champs and two runner. We actually won 4 state championships if you consider our association state championships and Arizona Middle School state championships. We won 4 state championships with 2 runner-ups. These kids on this third team was immersed in that for a year. And when they got their opportunity and they felt appreciated because the head honcho was working with them, coaching them, and was supportive of them the entire year, we went down there and made it happen. So I say all this to say is my advice to parents is to seek out strong basketball development cultures that have a proven track record of development and positive relationships with families and their athletes. When you find that, just make a multi-year commitment. And then as a parent, get out the way. Let the coach do coach stuff. Let the athlete be an athlete. Let them deal with the ups and downs. Be there for those conversations. Be a parent. Support from the sideline. And then only intervene if you sense that the well-being, that there's something impacting the well-being of your child. But even before you go to the coach or the head of the program, make sure that you understand the cause that's impacting your child's well-being. Because if that cause has nothing to do with basketball, don't even bring it up unless there's some adjustments you need to make in the way you're interacting with the program. And I tell you, if you do that part up front, if you slow down, really evaluate what's available in your market, focus on culture, focus on airdropping your child into an environment that has a track record of producing skill, high IQ, high character, good citizens out of their program. That's where you put your kid, and you just let them marinate in that environment. And trust and believe, if that culture is a solid culture, you do all your work on up front, you'll have so few issues on the back end. And that's my encouragement to you. So, what do you think? Do you think environment is more important than culture, or culture is more important than environment? And with that thought, what happened to the culture? What has happened to culture in American basketball? What is the culture of American basketball today? I would love to get your thoughts. Hey, we're at the end of the show. Mark Tee Armstrong, founder of No Backboard Basketball League. I appreciate you making it to the end. Be blessed. I'll see you at the top.
So this is a whole new thing. What was the most surprising about this? Like yourself or something you were playing about the game?
All right, so when my coach told me about this No Backboard sponsor, right? Mm-hmm. I thought it was just a name. When I came here and I saw No Backboard, I said, oh, maybe they're about to, put that on real quick. Maybe they're trying to be high tech with it. When I realized they did it, I was like, oh, so they were not joking about no backboard. I was like, oh, all right.
So it seems like pretty fundamental to have a blackboard. So like whenever you started the game, like what changed? What are the things you had to do?
Well, me, I like being crafty towards the rim, and like I used the backboard a lot. So when I didn't have the option to use the backboard, it really threw me off guard at first. But over time, I started to get used to it a little bit, but it still felt weird. So yeah.
Dang. So someone coming in like to this, what would you tell them?
Say again?
What would you tell someone coming into this that didn't play?
Before you come in, be prepared to miss a couple of shots at first because it makes it look like it's an illusion. Like the backboard is like further away if you shoot from three, or like up close, like you might use too much power. Like it really forces you to work on that touch. Like for me, I was trying to shoot the ball at first, and sometimes it would go too far a little bit or be short. But once I found like the perfect spot, I'll try to keep it there. So yeah, it really forces you to like try to shoot like better.
So would you want to come back to something like this?
I would definitely, if I can shoot like this, if I can shoot good on a no backboard hoop, I feel like I shoot even better with a hoop that's even bigger because I heard the rim is shorter. So yeah,
seeing that experience and coming back,
it would be a lot easier.
What was the most challenging part of all this?
Shooting.
Yeah.
Because it was a lot of my shots were going in and out in the game a little bit, but so it really, again, touch was really important.
Dang.
So that's why I stay like close towards the hoop when I try to go up for like layups.
It was such a fast-paced game. It felt like there's like no time to think. What was something you did to adjust with that?
At first, like passing the ball up, not just like trying to like dribble down, because I realized also that imitates like how college ball is, how you have to pass it. They usually pass the ball up unless it was like the defense is already back. But if they're pressing you and you have the ball, right, and you're trying to go up, you don't want to try to dribble through 2-3 people. That's going to be a turnover. So.
Dang. So like whenever you make those mistakes, how do you deal with that?
Have the next play mindset. You can't really be stuck in the moment. Can't feel sorry for yourself. You just got to get back to the next spot.
That's cool. How do you think this new format like helps other people?
It makes you think at a fast, like it makes you think fast, and like at first it's gonna be uncomfortable, but once you like get used to it, you do it over and over, repetition and all that, it gets better.
Repetition, that's awesome. So, what was your favorite part?
Just enjoying being around the people, getting along with them, and just hooping with them. It was just really fun hooping with different players I haven't hooped with before.
That's awesome. Well, is there anything else you'd like to add, or?
Got some work to do.
Cool. Thank you again.
Thank you.
All right, I'll get your mic.
No backboard!
No backboard, just sky where we aim. Swish